People today are easily oversharing and revealing too much about themselves, both in person and on social media. Although being open and vulnerable can help build relationships and understanding, the old philosophy of Stoicism tells us that we should protect some parts of our lives. In this video, I will discuss a few personal concerns and circumstances that are in the best interest of maintaining confidentiality. Those things that are not useful in any way and should not be transmitted. When it comes to your life, privacy may bring about substantial benefits, both tactically and in terms of nurturing inner peace. Those of you who follow us for Stoic or philosophical insights may have peace of mind knowing that this video will teach you how to embody Stoicism in the modern world. Stoicism, which has its origins in ancient Greece and Rome, provides knowledge that has stood the test of time on how to traverse the delicate line that between vulnerability and prudence. In this video, we will investigate 7 topics that Stoicism recommends us not to disclose to other people. Our goal is to offer insight on the philosophy's continued relevance in the modern world. Furthermore, constantly strive to be the best version of yourself. First and foremost, the conflicts that you have won in the past. When it comes to the path of life, there is no need for other people to comprehend. In the depths of our souls, there are wars that we fight, hardships that we suffer, and trials that we eventually triumph over. These things may stay hidden from view. It is not necessary for other people to have a complete understanding of your personal wars, which are the fights you fought in the past. One is under no responsibility to provide an explanation or justification to others who have traveled their own challenging roads. By attempting to explain the entire degree of your hardships, you run the risk of seeming arrogant. This is because it gives the impression that you are seeking validation for your experience, which is the core of a person's character that has been deeply formed by the challenges and difficulties they have endured. On the other hand, it is not your responsibility to make your difficulties widely known or to rely on your difficulties as an excuse or a story. All of those difficult experiences have served as the furnace in which your life has been shaped, and they have contributed to the development of your character's maturity, wisdom, and uncompromising tenacity. Even if your history has shaped who you are now, there is no need for other people to vividly imagine the suffering that you have been through. Your development and transformation are the things that they should be acknowledging the most. In the end, it is more admirable for a person to resist from lingering unduly on their past and instead commit themselves to being completely present in the moment that they are now experiencing. One's actions, and not their words, are the most effective means by which they may express their traits and experiences. The purpose of this is not to gloat about one's previous experiences. Rather, it is to demonstrate one's talents in action, so demonstrating one's inner strength and resilience. They go beyond just being a story of success and become a living witness to the everlasting strength of the human spirit as a result of their actions. Consider a guy called David, who has been forced to contend with a great deal of difficulty throughout his life. Over the course of his life, he has been through the death of a loved one, been unemployed, and faced several challenges in the process of parenting his children by himself. As a result of these challenges, David's life has undergone enormous transformations, and his development has been noteworthy. Instead of telling other people about the struggles he has been through, David has made the decision to focus on living in the current, now in a constructive way. In order to provide his children with a loving atmosphere, he learnt how to grab any chance that presented itself. It was not David's intention to focus on recalling his personal difficulties. Instead, he exhibited patience, courage, and generosity by assisting others in his community who were in need. As a consequence of this, everyone in David's community saw a good change in his life and the beneficial influence that he had on them. David instead demonstrated via his actions that he had overcome challenges in the past and emerged as a powerful and valued member of society. He did this rather than spending a lot of time talking about his prior shortcomings. In the second place, it is best to keep the particulars of your objectives to yourself. Most of the time, it is more prudent to keep the specifics of your goals to yourself whenever possible. It is possible that the majority of people are aware of the overall path that you are going to take. Nonetheless, consider the repercussions that would result from disclosing specific information that indicate each stage of your trip. Comparable to allowing free access to your own phone, it is the same thing. When you do this, you are effectively giving up control over the issue or circumstance. If everything does not go according to plan, you can find yourself wondering if it was a mistake that you made or whether someone turned their back on you and broke your trust. When an assault takes place, the origin of the attack becomes a mystery because there are so many potential sources of damage that it becomes hard to determine who could be responsible for the attack. It is impossible to determine whether the person responsible is a friend who is asking about your ambitions with good intentions or someone who has ulterior motivations. Maintaining the confidentiality of the essential particulars of your goals is of the highest significance. In point of fact, it is often adequate to just indicate the approximate direction in which you are headed. It is not necessary for you to feel compelled to provide the myriad of specifics on your trip to any individual. When everything is said and done, no one else can genuinely be your confidant in the same manner that you can be for yourself. The way you choose to go is entirely unique to you, and you do not owe anybody a comprehensive explanation of your objectives. Put yourself in the position of a sculptor who is working on a one-of-a-kind and priceless piece of art. The fact that you are working on a sculpture is common knowledge among those around you, yet you have not disclosed any information on it. The only thing you say is that the sculpture will be a great piece of art and that it will be unique. At some point in time, you make the decision to reveal further information about your sculpture to a close friend because you have faith in them. You include descriptions of every aspect of it, including its size, form, and importance. However, after some time has passed, you come to the realization that specific information on your sculpture has been distributed. Others are aware of all there is to know about your sculpture, and some of them are attempting to replicate it or even lie in order to take your hard work. Due to the fact that you disclosed an excessive amount of information on your sculpture, you have lost control of the situation and run the danger of the sculpture being stolen or replicated. You are able to safeguard your artwork and preserve its surprise and one-of-a-kind worth if you merely let other people know that you are working on a unique sculpture without divulging any specific details about it. The third point is your contentment. As a result of the widespread perception that happiness and a sensation of lightness are in short supply, these feelings have become highly sought after. When you really exude happiness, it has the potential to have a significant influence. Individuals may respond in a variety of ways, with some expressing appreciation and others expressing cynicism. Your genuine grin may be a source of astonishment for some people, while others may doubt your sincerity. Find it difficult to think that someone can actually enjoy inner peace in such an environment, and find it difficult to believe that some people can. When someone inquires about your well-being, it is essential to boldly exhibit your pleasure that you are experiencing. It would be remiss of you to minimize your level of satisfaction. You are able to firmly declare that you are, in fact, doing well, as opposed to just expressing that you are doing well. A feeling of self-assurance and confidence is communicated via this small change, which is a positive sign. Rather of ruminating on how everything in your life is going swimmingly, it is completely okay to express that things are going good in a world that is frequently dominated by feelings of hopelessness and dissatisfaction. The act of exuding pleasure is sometimes considered to be a treacherous task. It is possible for persons who are resentful and unsatisfied to make an effort to disturb the tranquility of others who have discovered inner peace. Nevertheless, embracing and expressing your pleasure is a brave act that has the potential to motivate other people to look for their own sources of joy and lightness within themselves. Your true pleasure may serve as a light of hope and a reminder that inner peace is achievable even in difficult circumstances, which is especially important in contexts where negativity is often the dominant force in society. Therefore, do not be afraid to let your joy show through and serve as a source of motivation for people who are in your immediate vicinity. Consider the situation of a Christian called John, who is going through a difficult and worried time in his life. Throughout his life, John has discovered that his trust in God has been a source of both encouragement and hope. In his day-to-day existence, he constantly gives off the impression of being joyful and positive, and John's grin never fails to become apparent, even when things are challenging. If you ask John about his circumstances, he will never tell you that everything is going completely according to plan. He will instead grin and pretend that everything is fine, as if nothing is wrong. Not because he is trying to conceal the reality, but rather because he wants to show his appreciation for his faith and his capacity to triumph over any challenge. There are, however, certain people in John's life who do not readily accept this. There are some individuals who may be dubious and find it difficult to accept that a person may actually be happy despite the challenges they are facing. John's sincerity may be called into doubt if they see him to be too hopeful. Nevertheless, what is essential is that John does not give any consideration to this uncertainty, and that he continues to inspire others with his joy and optimism. John is not just someone who believes in God, but he is also someone who demonstrates his faith by being joyful and optimistic. Instead of making an effort to make his life ideal, he demonstrates thankfulness and a cheerful attitude, which makes him an inspiration to everyone around him. On the other hand, he must also contend with the skepticism and discontentment of individuals living in his immediate vicinity. When you make the decision to live a good life in a world that is full with problems, this may be something that you cannot avoid. Despite this, John makes the decision to be true to himself and not let the negative of others to upset his spirit. In the context of cultivating a healthy and robust love relationship, the fourth point is the significance of maintaining one's privacy. There is a fundamental element that is sometimes overlooked, and that is the significance of protecting your relationships, maintaining your privacy, and avoiding having unwarranted conversations about disagreements and personal information on the public platform that is the Internet. This is a practice that has the potential to considerably contribute to the continuity and durability of your relationship. If there are disagreements or problems inside a relationship, it is common for people to feel the want to vent their frustrations or seek guidance from their friends and acquaintances. Nevertheless, it is of the utmost importance to take a moment to halt and contemplate the consequences of this action. Inadvertently weakening the exact basis you are attempting to reinforce of your relationship might be the result of sharing the sensitive aspects of your connection with other people, particularly on the Internet. Suppose that you and your partner are confronted with a difficult situation in your relationship. Your emotional life is experiencing tension and uneasiness as a result of an essential problem that both of you need to address. This issue is leading you to feel upset and unhappy. It is decided that rather than sitting down and having a straight conversation about this matter with each other, you would instead disclose everything with a close friend. You are in need of guidance and assistance from a third party who is not involved in the situation. In order to find a solution to this issue, you communicate with your buddy about what is taking place include your feelings, and express your desire to acquire a new point of view. However, when you tell your tale, things take a course that you did not anticipate, which is always bad. You will see that your buddy begins to provide their own remarks and ideas. They start by inquiring as to the reason you are in this relationship, offering advice on how you need to approach the problem, and even expressing worries of their own about your partnership. As time goes on, the topic of discussion gradually moves to your friend's thoughts and points of view, and you begin to feel as if the original problem has been pushed to the background. Rather of concentrating on how to solve the particular circumstance and enhance your relationship, the talk goes on to become a discussion about the viewpoints and opinions of others from outside the partnership. A healthy and happy relationship is built on the foundation of effective communication and intimacy between the two people involved. It is, however, more efficient to nurture them inside the context of the relationship itself, as opposed to cultivating them outside of it. A significant number of individuals find themselves in the position of attempting to resolve marital disagreement, and in their search for a solution, they seek assistance from friends, family, or even the internet community. By doing so, individuals unintentionally raise the profile of their private issues by turning them into public gossip. When you take this into consideration, it becomes clear that the vitality of your relationship is dependent on your capacity to strike a delicate balance between providing closeness and protecting your privacy. The ability to settle difficulties and handle disagreements without disclosing every detailed aspect of your relationship to the outside world is what it means to have good relationship management skills. To put it simply, the holy place that you and your spouse create together is where the strength of your connection is nourished and protected. When you abstain from revealing every facet of your relationship with other people, you create an environment that is conducive to both open and honest conversation, where you are able to immediately address any disputes that may arise and where closeness may blossom. It is your responsibility to maintain the sacredness of this location and to make certain that it continues to function as a wellspring of power and assistance for both you and your spouse. Additionally, it is essential to keep in mind that although it is beneficial to seek guidance and assistance, it is equally essential to safeguard the privacy and intimacy that are the hallmarks of a genuinely exceptional relationship. The fifth point is your current financial picture. First and foremost, it is essential to keep in mind that every single person in your social circle is not an IRS agent or a bank employee. Hence, there is no need to provide private financial information. Secondly, disclosing your financial situation might result in undesirable repercussions, regardless of whether you are financially stable or in debt. This is true regardless of the situation. Disclosure of this information may attract persons with hidden agendas who see you as a possible source of financial aid. If you happen to be in a position of financial abundance, you may find that this information attracts some of these individuals. On the other hand, if you publicly state that your financial situation is difficult and you are in a difficult financial situation, many people may look down on you, since society standards often connect money success with personal value. In light of the fact that this is the way the world works, it is essential to proceed with caution. Because of this, the most efficient strategy is to keep a sense of mystery about your current financial condition. It is okay for others to guess about your financial situation, but you should keep your financial situation a mystery. Taking this step will guarantee that others who are close to you do not have an excessive amount of anxiety over your financial situation. If you reveal that you are in a desperate situation or that you are having financial difficulties, it might put your prospects at risk and lead others to withdraw from you. Behaving in a desperate manner can only lead to troubles, regardless of whether you are participating in a job interview, attending a social event, or spending time with friends. Remember that desperation will not assist you in accomplishing your objectives. As a matter of fact, it will most likely discourage the very support that you could want the most. In the event that you ever find yourself considering disclosing to other people that you do not have control over your finances, it is often more prudent to protect your privacy and steer clear of any efforts to do so. In a nutshell, it is essential to carry oneself with poise and self-assurance. It has a considerable amount of weight in terms of how other people view you. Despite the fact that you may be experiencing internal uncertainty or financial difficulties, it is important to keep in mind that the world puts a great deal of importance on appearances. The ability to exude confidence is essential if you want to persuade others that you are in control of the situation and that you are able to deal with any difficulties that may arise. Relationships with other people and confidences are the sixth priority. Stoic philosophy lays a considerable focus on the need of maintaining trust and loyalty within human relationships. Stoicism is a philosophical school of thought. According to the Stoic point of view, disclosing the personal information and vulnerabilities of other people may have negative repercussions, which can eventually result in the loss of trust and the weakening of the basic foundations upon which our relationships are founded. Stoicism is a philosophical school that strongly supports the values of caution and honesty when it comes to dealing with the vulnerabilities and private secrets of other people. They are aware that the manner in which we handle such confidences not only reveals our personal character, but also reveals our moral integrity and the fundamental principles that we maintain. According to the Stoic philosophy, it is our responsibility to behave with caution and respect while dealing with concerns of secrecy. This is because we must acknowledge that the confidence that people put in us is a demonstration of our morality and our dedication to the health and happiness of those who are in our immediate vicinity. By demonstrating our ethical strength and protecting the confidences of others, we not only contribute to the development of strong and long-lasting relationships that are founded on a foundation of trust and loyalty, but we also exhibit our ability to exercise caution. The purpose of this Stoic principle is to serve as a reminder that the manner in which we handle the confidences of other people is a direct reflection of our own character and moral standing in the eyes of both ourselves and the larger world. Consider the possibility that you have a close friend who confides in you about the challenges and concerns that they are experiencing in their personal life. They have placed their whole faith in you and have divulged their deepest feelings and secrets to you. The fact that you have pledged to maintain the confidentiality of this information and that you have confirmed your commitment to supporting them in any circumstance is quite significant. On the other hand, at a later time, you get a phone call from another buddy who asks you to share the knowledge that you know with them. As a result of your decision to maintain the confidentiality of the first friend's information, you find yourself in a circumstance that presents you with a moral dilemma. In this scenario, if you follow to the principles of Stoicism, you would choose not to disclose the knowledge to the second buddy in order to safeguard the confidence and secrecy of the first friend. When you are confronted with the expectations of other people, this is an example of how to demonstrate prudence and ethics while still protecting the confidence that your first buddy has put in you. Maintaining one's ethics and personal values is the seventh step. Stoicism is a guiding light that emphasizes the unshakable necessity of keeping our moral integrity and ideals, regardless of the external pressures or social expectations that may want to detour us from our real convictions. Stoicism acts as a guiding light, a timeless philosophy. Stoicism encourages us to remain true to our commitment to virtue and ethical conduct in spite of the ever-present pressures of society. In a world where conformity and the pursuit of external approval often tempt individuals to forsake their deeply held beliefs, Stoicism acts as a philosophy that has stood the test of time. Stoicism encourages us to maintain a firm and unwavering stance, refusing to make concessions to our fundamental principles or beliefs for the sole purpose of conforming to the prevalent standards or appeasing the opinions of the general public. Our moral compass should stay unshaken, and it should serve as our unshakable guide while we navigate the intricate seas of life's many obstacles and temptations. This is a reminder that we should keep in mind. We not only keep our moral purity by adhering to this Stoic knowledge, but we also set an inspirational example for others, exhibiting the strength and fortitude of character that may arise from a firm determination to live in accordance with our greatest values and beliefs. This is possible because we demonstrate that we are able to retain our moral purity. Stoicism, in its most fundamental form, is a philosophical guiding light that encourages us to nurture an inner strength that is independent of the fleeting fluctuations that are caused by external circumstances and the constraints that are placed on us by society. Regardless of the storms of popular opinion or the seduction of conformity, it teaches us that our beliefs and moral fiber should stay unchanged. This is something you should always remember. In the deep words of the Stoic philosophers, we discover the eternal admonition that in the pursuit of knowledge and virtue, we must steadfastly adhere to our convictions and fight the ever-present currents that threaten to take us away from the road of justice. This is a reminder that has stood the test of time. The timeless philosophy of Stoicism teaches us how to maintain our sense of moral direction, and as a result, we are able to live lives that are characterized by genuine honesty and sincerity. Consider the scenario in which a Christian called Alex lives in a culture in which avarice and intense competitiveness have become commonplace habits. Respect, tolerance, and love for others are all qualities that the Bible has taught and promoted throughout Alex's life. He has always lived his life based on these principles. On the other hand, given the contemporary social climate, Alex will often be confronted with the pressure to achieve success at any cost and to amass financial fortune at some point for himself. Alex is presented with a business opportunity that, if he takes advantage of it, has the potential to earn him considerable income in a very short amount of time. However, in order for him to take advantage of this chance, he will need to participate in a transaction that is unethical and not transparent, behave contrary to his ideals, and do damage to other people. Moralism serves as Alex's compass in this circumstance. Alex makes the decision to preserve his dedication to ethics and tolerance rather than surrendering his principles and ethics for the sake of short-term personal benefit. In spite of the possible pressures and difficulties he may face in keeping his moral integrity, he chooses not to pursue that economic opportunity and instead continues to conduct his life in accordance with the values and principles he holds dear. It is through his steadfastness to his ideals that Alex exhibits his strength. Not only does he maintain his moral character by doing this action, but he also serves as an example to everyone around him, teaching them about the significance and power of living according to the higher principles that he strives to fulfill. There are extra parts of Stoic knowledge that may give further advice in negotiating the intricacies of life and relationships. While the 7 components stated above constitute the basis of what Stoicism encourages us not to disclose to others, there are additional features of Stoic wisdom that can provide insight. First and foremost, gossip and unfavorable judgments. Stoics advises us to stop from gossiping and forming bad judgments about other people. Stoicism also pushes us to respect others. The act of passing judgment and participating in gossip may be harmful to our own character and can also be bad to the connections we have. In the Stoic philosophy, it is believed that when we criticize or talk about other people, we are not only revealing our own shortcomings in character, but we are also contributing to an environment that is unpleasant and poisonous. By refraining from passing unfavorable judgments and engaging in gossip, we are able to preserve our moral integrity and cultivate more positive relationships with other people. Secondly, the dread of death and the realization of one's own mortality. The dread of death and our own mortality are both addressed by Stoicism. Reflecting on our own mortality is a normal part of the human experience. Nonetheless, a persistent obsession with death may result in feelings of dread and hopelessness. It is through the practice of Stoicism that we learn to acknowledge our own mortality and to refrain from continuously concentrating on it, that we are able to learn to accept death as an inevitable element of the human condition. We are able to be more completely present in our lives by concentrating on the things that we have the ability to control and the qualities that we can nurture. Remorse and bitterness from the past come in third. Stoic wisdom encourages one to refrain from concentrating on regrets and resentments from the past, which is another part of this philosophy. The emotional and mental burden that may be caused by harboring resentment or dwelling incessantly on errors made in the past can be significant. A Stoic is someone who believes that we should acknowledge our deeds from the past and learn from them, but we should not let those actions dictate our present or our future. We are able to liberate ourselves from the emotional baggage of the past when we engage in the practice of forgiving others and letting go of resentments. Lastly, personal accomplishments and triumphs are discussed. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to refrain from boasting about our own accomplishments and victories, even if this may seem to be paradoxical. The philosophy places a high priority on modesty and humility, and it teaches us that the path to actual success is to live a virtuous life rather than always seeking affirmation or acclaim from others. We are able to keep our humility and concentrate on the road of virtue and the quest of greatness because of the intrinsic worth that it brings to a state of serenity and happiness when we refrain from engaging in excessive self-promotion. The Stoic philosophy lays a significant emphasis on the need of inner tranquility and satisfaction in a world that is rife with outward distractors and aspirations. Stoicism is a philosophy that reminds us that the source of genuine pleasure is inside ourselves. Stoicism means that we should not seek happiness via worldly items or by exposing our inner calm and contentment to external situations. In our efforts to live a life that is meaningful and fulfilling, we develop more resilience and self-reliance. The philosophy of Stoicism provides a complete framework for leading a life that is characterized by knowledge, morality, and solitude. In spite of the fact that it cautions us against sharing certain elements of our life with other people, It also stresses the need of developing virtues such as discretion, humility, and resilience. Through the application of these Stoic principles, we are able to manage the difficulties of our contemporary world with grace and integrity, so cultivating meaningful connections and finding satisfaction in our quest of a life that has been lived to the fullest. Stoicism offers as a timeless reminder that genuine pleasure and virtue originate inside ourselves, which is particularly relevant in our day and age, when oversharing and seeking affirmation from others often become the norm in our relationships. I am grateful that you have seen this video. We eagerly forward receiving a response from you. Out of the 7 things that you should not disclose to other people, which one is the one that most impresses you? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment down below. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who you believe might gain anything from seeing it. Remind yourself to click the button that says subscribe. If you haven't already done so, we hope that you will continue to become a part of our community and learn and develop with us.